Cancer, let us talk about the second half of November 2025 and what it is really stirring in your heart and in your home. If you have Cancer as your sun, sign your moon, your rising, or your Venus, this message is for you. You have been carrying a lot. The first part of this month may have felt like emotional weather that changed from day to day, one moment hopeful, the next moment heavy. Old memories surfacing, new responsibilities on your shoulders. Maybe family matters needed your attention. Maybe something around home living situation or security felt unsettled. Even if your outer life looked calm, there may have been waves moving underneath the surface. Now, as we move into mid-month, the universe is asking you to come back to yourself in a deeper way, not just to hide in your shell until the storm passes, but to choose what home means for you now. This is a time of emotional re-anchoring. You are being invited to notice where you feel safe and where you do not, where you feel nourished and where you feel drained. And from that awareness, you are being encouraged to make gentle but powerful adjustments. You are someone who feels life intensely. You pick up on what other people feel, even when they do not say it. You sense moods in a room without trying. That sensitivity is a gift, but it can also leave you exhausted if you never filter what comes in. The second half of November is about strengthening that filter. You are not here to carry every emotion in the room. You are not here to fix everyone else's discomfort while ignoring your own. You are here to honor your heart as something precious and to build a life that respects that. Like in love and relationships, this energy is especially active. If you're in a partnership, you might feel a stronger need to know that your connection is a true safe space, not just a place where you share bills or sleep next to each other, but a place where your feelings are allowed to exist. The second half of November can bring moments where you realize where you have been minimizing your needs or swallowing your reactions to keep peace. Like you may notice little things that suddenly feel bigger. The way your partner responds when you are upset, whether they check in on how you are doing or only show up when they need something, whether you feel emotionally held or emotionally alone, even when someone is physically there. These realizations are not here to make you suffer. They are here to help you get honest about what you truly require from love. You might feel guided to start a real conversation, one that begins with, I need to share something and I want you to listen. You may speak about feeling taken for granted or about wanting more quality time. You may share that you have been keeping quiet about stress just to avoid adding weight to the relationship. Or you may finally admit something you have been feeling for months. When you speak from your heart, gently and clearly, you give your partner a chance to meet the real you, instead of the version who always pretends everything is fine. For some Cancer people, this can deepen intimacy. Your partner may surprise you with how willing they are to understand and adjust. For others, this clarity can reveal where someone is not ready or able to show up emotionally. If that is the case, the universe is not punishing you. It is opening your eyes so that you can decide what level of connection you are no longer willing to accept. If you are single, the second half of November is a powerful time to look at the patterns that repeat in your love life. You may see more clearly the kind of people you have been attracting. Often, Cancer energy pulls in those who are in need of comfort healing or repair. You become the soft place to land. You become the therapist, the caretaker, the one who understands. While that reflects your enormous heart, it can also leave you drained and unappreciated. Mid-month asks you to consider another way. What if you allowed yourself to be loved as deeply as you love others? What if the next person you open your heart to is someone who knows how to give as well as receive, someone who notices your needs without you having to spell them out every time? Someone who does not make you pay for the wounds someone else gave them long ago. You may feel called to raise your standards quietly, but firmly. Not by building walls of ice, but by recognizing when someone's inconsistency or emotional unavailability is costing you too much. You might step back from a connection that always leaves you uncertain, or anxious. You might open the door to someone who shows small, consistent kindness instead of big, dramatic gestures that fade. You might finally realize that the kind of love you want must include emotional safety. Not perfect behavior, not zero conflict, just a shared commitment to care. Alongside romantic love, you are also being asked to look at family dynamics. This can include your family of origin, the people you grew up with, as well as the family you have chosen or are building now. Old patterns may reappear around mid-month. The role you often play, the mediator, the peacemaker, the one who keeps everyone together, the one who takes the late-night call, the one who is always there, even when no one asks how you are really doing. You may feel tired in a bone-deep way from carrying that emotional labor. That fatigue is a message. It is not a sign that you have become cold. It is a sign that you are human and that your well is not bottomless. This time is about learning how to care without constantly self-sacrificing. You can still be the loving one, the wise one, the nurturing one, but you are allowed to have limits. You are allowed to say, I cannot talk right now. You are allowed to not respond to every crisis the moment it appears. You are allowed to protect your own peace. Turn now to work, career, and money. For Cancer energy, these areas are often tied directly to the question of safety. You work to create stability for yourself and for those you care about. You may carry a strong sense of responsibility around providing or contributing. Even when you do not say it out loud, there can be an inner pressure to make sure everyone is okay. The second half of November brings you into a more mature relationship with that responsibility. You might notice that your work life has felt heavy or emotionally muddy. Perhaps you have been absorbing stress from coworkers or clients. Perhaps your workplace has become a place where you endure more than you feel appreciated. You may even feel that your creative gifts or your natural emotional intelligence are not being used in a satisfying way. Mid-November invites you to pause and ask some important questions. What would work look like if it actually respected my sensitivity instead of overwhelming it? Where have I taken on tasks or roles just because someone needed help, not because it aligned with my path? Am I staying in situations that drain me just because they feel familiar? When you explore these questions gently, you might see a path toward more aligned work. That path does not have to be dramatic right away. It could begin with small adjustments. You may decide to set clearer emotional boundaries at work. For example, being kind without taking on everyone's problems, listening without becoming the unofficial therapist, saying, I can help with this piece, but I cannot carry the whole thing for you. You may also feel ready to have conversations about your role, your pay, or your workload. This is not about demanding perfection. It is about asking for something closer to fairness. If you have been dreaming of a different job, a new career direction, or a more creative livelihood, the second half of November can bring nudges from the universe. A conversation that inspires you, a post you stumble on at the right time, an inner restlessness that will not go away when you think about staying exactly where you are for another year. You do not have to figure it all out immediately. You do not have to quit everything and leap into the unknown tomorrow, but you can begin to honor that calling by researching training, updating a resume, building a portfolio, talking to people who do what you are drawn to do. Money-wise, this is a time to think about security in a way that supports your emotional well-being. You may feel ready to get more organized, to know what is actually coming in and going out, to release any shame around debt or past mistakes, and simply see the numbers as information. Cancer energy can sometimes avoid looking at finances directly because it feels stressful. But once you face it, you often feel more empowered, not less. Small steps matter here. You might create a simple plan to pay down something one piece at a time. You might decide to save a small, consistent amount as an act of self-respect. You might speak with a trusted person or advisor about a financial decision instead of worrying about it alone. Every step that reduces uncertainty also soothes your nervous system. Underneath all the outer areas of life, your inner world is going through a deep recalibration. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and your moods can move like tides. You are learning now to ride those waves with more self-compassion. Instead of thinking, I should not feel this way, you are being invited to say, I understand why this feeling is here. What does it need? Often that need is not as complicated as the mind makes it. It might be rest, it might be reassurance, it might be honest tears, it might be a change in how someone is allowed to treat you. You may have moments where old grief rises, memories you have not visited in a long time, times when you felt unprotected, abandoned, or responsible for holding everything together when you were still a child. The second half of November can gently bring these pieces up so they can be witnessed and healed. You are ready now in a way you may not have been before. You have more tools, more awareness, and more capacity. This can be an ideal time for practices that soothe your emotional body. Journaling about what you wish someone had told you when you were younger, speaking to your reflection with kindness instead of criticism. Letting yourself cry in a safe space without telling yourself to toughen up. Taking a long shower or bath and imagining old energy washing off your skin. Spending time near water if you can, or even listening to the sound of waves while you rest. These may seem simple, but they speak the language of your soul. Your intuition is strong now. Sometimes for Cancer, that intuition shows up as a feeling in the stomach or chest, a sense of warmth or heaviness. When you think about a person or a choice, you might notice that your body reacts before your mind has words for why. The second half of November encourages you to pay attention to that reaction. If a plan looks good on paper, but your whole system tightens, that is meaningful. If something seems risky, but you feel a deep calm when you consider it, that is meaningful too. Where possible, give yourself time before committing. You do not owe anyone an instant answer. Even a few hours or a day of quiet reflection can make a huge difference in how you feel about a decision. When you honor your inner signals, you start to experience more alignment and less regret. Spiritually, this time is about re-establishing a sense of sacred space in your life. That might be a physical corner in your home that you arrange just for you, a chair, a candle, a blanket, a journal, a photo, something that reminds you that you have a place in this world. Or it might be an inner practice, a simple affirmation repeated before sleep, a brief morning ritual where you thank your own heart for keeping you going, an evening moment where you release the weight of the day. As the month moves toward its close, you may notice subtle but meaningful shifts. You choose differently about who gets access to your emotional energy. You recognize faster when a situation feels unsafe or unfair. You speak up even if your voice shakes. You say no without explaining your entire life story. You say yes when something feels deeply right, even if it scares you a little. These are signs that you are growing into a version of yourself who does not abandon their own needs in order to be loved. In your relationships, that might look like nurturing the bonds that nurture you back and letting distance grow where there has only been obligation. In work, it might look like protecting your non-working hours more fiercely so you can recover. In family connections, it might look like loving people while no longer letting their chaos run your life. Remember that this Cancer mid-month reading is only one part of your full picture. To understand more of how November is moving through, you listen also to the horoscopes for your sun sign, your moon, your rising, and your Venus. Your rising sign often describes the outer events and themes that are active around you. Your moon sign describes your emotional reactions and what you need to feel safe. Your sun sign shows where you are meant to shine and grow. Your Venus sign reveals how love, money, and harmony are flowing for you right now. When you put those pieces together, you see the deeper pattern behind what might have seemed random. You can also listen to the signs of people you care about, your partner, your crush, your children, your close friends, even family members who affect your daily life. When you hear what they might be experiencing energetically, you gain a new level of understanding. Instead of taking everything personally, you can see that they too are working through their own fears and lessons. That awareness can soften your heart, even as you maintain your boundaries. When you feel ready to go beyond general messages and into more personal, interactive guidance, come visit MysticBolt.com. There you will find tarot card spreads to help you make choices in love, career, and life direction. You will find astrology tools that let you explore your own chart in more depth. You will find a growing collection of spiritual and divination apps crafted to support you during turning points like this one, so you do not have to navigate them alone. For now, Cancer, take a slow, deep breath and remind yourself of this truth. You are allowed to be soft and strong at the same time. You are allowed to protect your heart without closing it. You are allowed to create a life that feels like home from the inside out. The second half of November is here to help you release what is heavy, rebuild what is sacred, and remember that your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is the compass that will keep guiding you home.